Hello everyone and welcome back to Mortons on the Move. I'm Tom and my wife Caitlin is behind the camera and we have been full-time RV travelers since 2015. We've been through a lot of different rigs and currently we've been living in this giant motorhome. We haven't shown it to you yet, so today we're going to give you a tour of this motorhome inside and out. So I'm going to walk you through the outside and some of the technicals of this rig, and then I'll turn it around and Caitlin will give you a tour of the inside. So this motorhome is a 2008 Monaco Dynasty. It is a 45-foot long rig. It's a diesel pusher. And the reason that we bought this was partially to try the motorhome life because we hadn't tried that yet, but also because we were kind of looking for some upgrades. We wanted to be able to carry more stuff. We wanted some additional amenities. And we particularly bought this rig because of its layout. We really think that layout is probably the most important thing when looking to buy a motorhome because it really is the livability of it. We really love the layout of this motorhome. We've made some serious modifications inside and out, and we'll talk you through a lot of what we've done to this motorhome. But the layout is awesome. I'm really excited for you to see inside. But let's start here on the outside. We'll walk through and talk about some of the technicals. So it's a 4-slide unit. This is one of the front slides. Our under storage bays are, we've got pass-through storage with electric slide outs on a lot of these. This is what's considered a semi Monaco chassis motorhome. So the structure actually goes all the way up and over. It is a completely steel cage all the way around, and it gives us slightly taller bays all the way through. We've got a pass-through storage bay here. We've got another pass-through storage bay in here. Most of our bays right now are pretty well packed. Our inverter is here. One of the upgrades that we made to this coach is the inverter. Originally, it had a Magnum inverter, which having used Victron inverters primarily, it just was not doing it for us. It wasn't a hybrid inverter, and it liked to drop the power anytime that we switched between, say, generator or short supplies or anything like that, and our computers and everything would go down. So we upgraded to a Victron inverter, and it has been just so much better. Having the hybrid capabilities and being able to keep the power on no matter what our transfer situation is so much better. That's also connected to a full electronic remote monitoring system, so we can control it via our computers and see what's going on. We of course upgraded our battery system as well, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. This bay here, I've got it currently locked. This is our fuel bay. We can take a look at it from the other side. We have 150 gallons of fuel on board this coach. It passes all the way across. We're kind of mid-coach with the fuel, which is great for the weight. And then there's also a 30-gallon propane tank in there. However, there's no propane usage on board this coach, which is kind of funny. This is another pass-through storage bay. We've also got our Dometic cooler on a slide-out tray here. So this is kind of our basement freezer storage. It's not got anything in it yet, but we're about to hit the road, and I'm sure that will get filled up at probably a Costco stop. Down here is our kind of our wet slash technical bay. We have 75-gallon gray, 50-gallon black tanks. You'll see these interesting sensors on here because the coach has macerating toilets. Toilets because it has 2 bathrooms. It has a half bath, and we'll talk more about that inside. However, we actually ripped one of those toilets out. Caitlin will tell you more about that in a little bit. The coach also has the AquaHot, I think 600D system. AquaHot is basically a boiler. It's like a boiler that you'd have in a house that uses fluid to heat the different sections. So they call it hydronic heat. This is a boiler. It's primarily a diesel boiler, 50,000 BTUs, or 55, somewhere in there. I've completely rebuilt this myself, so I have a really good understanding of it already. It also has, this one particularly has 2,000 watt elements in it, so it can actually heat with 4,000 watts of resistive heating. So this is used to heat the coach, but it also heats our water. So it has our hot water, cold water lines goes in. There is a water exchange inside the actual boiler itself. And when that diesel is running, this can actually maintain continuous hot water. So we have unlimited hot water through this. It's not quite on demand, it's very close. If the system's completely cold, it takes a little bit of time to get hot water, but if it is already heated up, it's pretty much on demand, instantaneous, and we have unlimited hot water. So much so that I actually wash the coach in hot water and I don't run out, which is really awesome. So that's what this system is. This is what the little areas look like. They're the heating elements. So this is the heat comes through, and there's a little fan in here and it blows the heat out. So we have heat down in the bays, but we also have the same types of heaters inside in various locations, and we can select each individual one. So it's really nice. It's a super quiet way to heat, and it allows us to heat every individual section of the RV independently. So the AquaHot's awesome. It does our heat, it does our hot water. It also can take heat off the engine. So for driving, we can actually run the fluid from the engine into this and heat the boiler with the engine heat. And we can reverse that. You can use this system to actually preheat the engine. So if it's cold out, we can get the engine up to 70 degrees in no time with this and fire it up. So you're starting up a nice warm engine, which is a really nice feature. Our water tank is in here as well. It's got 105 gallons of fresh water. We'll take a look more at the water bay on the other side with more details.
What's that?
What's this thing?
Yeah.
This is a spare airbag. So this coach it actually rides on 10 of these things, and I've replaced every one of them myself. Like I said, we've done a lot of upgrades to this coach. And this was a heck of an undertaking, replacing all of these. But because these are actually smaller airbags than like what a lot of semis ride on, because they'll ride on fewer of them, but this coach rides on 10 of these, and this is just a spare. I love to have spare parts, particularly in common potential failure points. And I'll show you why these could be a failure point in a little bit here. Spare coolant, spare trans fluid, spare boiler fluid, and I think I got spare oil somewhere else. So just kind of, that's why this area is so gross and dirty. So a couple more huge upgrades that we made to this coach, or we added gutters to the roof. It actually didn't have gutters. So we did this interesting mid gutter, because on the front we've got two Girard awnings up there that get in the way of where the gutters would be. So we drip the water out the mid and then we go to the back. But also up there, you'll see that we installed these beautiful tan slide toppers. Those are tough top awning slide toppers. And we had such great success with those on our fifth wheel that we decided once again to use them on this coach. And we changed them from the existing black material that was up there because it was falling apart. It was just awful. It was the more fabric style, similar to what's on the Girard awning, but it was just coming apart. It wasn't withstanding the weather, and it was leaking. So these, we really like the light look up there, and
keeps it cooler too.
So much better. They also don't flap in the wind. I don't know. It's been we've discovered that with the trailer as well, that they were so much quieter. So.
And for anybody curious about that gutter system, that's from Rec Pro. They have a whole bunch of like just weird RV things that you can't find anywhere else.
We've definitely used a handful of Rec Pro products throughout this RV. They do a really good job with some, like Caitlin said, those unique RV products. And the gutter system was definitely, that was completely a Rec Pro product. That we put on the coach, and that's been working fantastic. It helps keep the side cleaner without the water running down, and
we have a coupon for both of those things for Tough Top awnings, so we'll leave that in the description below.
Yeah, head over to our website, our deals and discount page, and you can get a discount on both of those,
on Tough Top awnings and Rec Pro stuff.
Definitely. All right, let's go ahead and take a look more at the back. The coach is a tag axle coach, so we've got two duals and a tag. The tag on this coach adds enormous amounts of stability, and one reason that we know that for sure is that this coach actually has the capability to lift the tag. It can actually lift this completely off the ground, and the purpose of that is when we're maneuvering in tight spaces, we can lift this off the ground, and we basically turn this coach into a much shorter wheelbase, just non-tag coach. That allows us to maneuver much, much sharper and not drag these tires around. So typically when we're making very sharp turns or we're maneuvering into a space, we lift up the tag on this coach. And when the tag is lifted, I can tell you this coach rocks and rides so much worse. We've gone over a couple speed bumps with this lifted before, and it's horrible. So we always make sure we put it down if we're maneuvering and we're going over like some rocky, rolly terrain. The tag axle not only adds stability to these big coaches, but it also adds weight carrying capacity. On the rear of this coach, this rear axle is rated at 22 or 4,000 pounds, I'm not sure. And the tag axle, I believe, is 14,000 pounds rated on this particular coach. So it gives us a lot more additional weight carrying capacity for the immense amount of weight that this coach can carry. This coach has a gross combined weight rating of 65,000 pounds. And a lot of that is in its 15,000 pound towing capacity. Back here, we've got a 15,000 pound rated hitch. However, all we tow is a little car with it. But you can see this coach has the Detroit Diesel 60 series engine. So this is a 14 liter engine. It's not the biggest engine that they put in these coaches, but this engine is pre-def, so it's kind of like pre the emissions. So this engine does put out an enormous amount of power. This engine is tuned to about 575 horsepower right now, putting out about 1,700 foot-pounds of torque. Those numbers, if you don't know what they mean, it's a lot of power for a coach of any size, but particularly this coach. It really helps move this coach along very nicely. We can maintain speed pretty much any hill that I've pulled so far. The coach doesn't slow down. It gets up to speed very nicely. Everything back here is big and kind of dirty right now. Hydraulic system. We can actually manually adjust the tag axle pressure, so how much weight is on that tag axle. We actually have control of that back here. You probably don't care about the rest of the technicals back here, but it has some really neat functionality and features that I absolutely love.
Maybe you'll have to nerd out on another video.
Maybe. One thing we missed back here is back over here on the other side. Now, in here is all of our electrical connections. And I had to open this up, and I disconnected the alternator from the battery charging system, because in here we replaced all of the 8 existing lead acid batteries with, of course, Battleborn batteries. Now, this system, oh, that's a little tight there. That's our primary solar coming in right here. The previous owner had installed solar on this coach already, and I pretty much used the existing areas, and you see some of the corrosion that came from the older lead acid batteries that were in here. But we did like for like, and we installed 8 of the GC3 batteries. We were able to get them on GC2s.
GC2.
We installed 8 of the GC2 batteries on these trays. You can see some of the corrosion. Again, that was from the previous batteries. And it was pretty much like for like. I was able to reprogram the inverter charger to work with the batteries, but again, that Magnum just did not work very well. So the Victron is working so much better. These batteries are also the heat batteries. However, I haven't actually enabled the heat. All you have to do is get these on a relay or just connect them directly to the positive, and that's how you enable the heat. So we can operate these batteries in sub-freezing temperatures. It's not really our preferred RVing style, so it's not really a problem for us, but if we had to, we do have the heated batteries. And then we also went ahead, you can see that we've got, you can see dirt still gets in here a little bit, but we sealed this bay up as best we could. And I had to go ahead and replace these batteries with sealed lead acid batteries as well, because we sealed it up. If they were wet, they would vent, and we have to vent the compartment. So we went with sealed lead acid. These are the starting batteries for the engine. And truthfully, I think they would prefer to have one more. This is 900. This is
math.
1,000 cold cranking amps. That's 2,000 cold cranking amps, and it's still just barely gets that engine started. So I think I need to add one more battery to that system. The Battleborn batteries have been an incredible upgrade. We lived with the existing lead acid batteries only for a couple months, but it was a struggle. They were leaking. They were just all around problematic. An interesting thing that we saw was that the Battleborn batteries immediately provided us with a 30% increase in the existing solar power just because the voltage was higher and they were able to stay in bulk for longer. We basically got 30%-ish more energy out of the solar system just by switching to these batteries. It's just one more thing that I was just like blown away by, like, wow, lithium is really the only way to go on an RV if you're going to be doing solar. It's just, they're just so much better all the way around, and we just love these batteries. All right, coming around this side of the coach, one thing you'll notice with a coach that has a larger engine like this is that it has additional radiator space. So they actually have to make the box larger and make the radiator taller. So if you ever see a coach that has typically a radiator above this line, you know that it's got the oversized engine in the coach. Usually they only need this and down, but it's good for the engine, of course, but it actually takes away a little bit of interior space because they have to box this in further back. It's not really noticeable because of the design of our coach, but we'll show you that inside. Axles, this is slide number 3, of course.
Bedroom slide.
This is our water bay. So I absolutely love the water bay in this coach. Currently, it's hooked up to a macerator. So this coach has a built-in macerator, which means it actually can grind and pump the waste. And we're here parked at a house and we're pumping the waste into the laundry room actually and down the drain in the laundry room, which is awesome. So we're able to do full hookups even in a driveway that doesn't have full hookups. However, we can also disconnect this and flush with just a standard dump hose. We also have exterior water lighting in here and the towels. I have this hooked up permanently to the black and gray flush system, which I have over here. Oh, it's a little bit of a mess right now, but this is the water intake currently, and I have this permanently hooked up so I can just turn that faucet on and flush the black tank. And with this lever, I can actually switch between black and gray tank flush. One thing you're going to notice immediately in here is this absolutely fantastic water filtration system that we added to this coach. This is by far my favorite water filtration that we have used yet. It has also made the biggest difference in taste to the water. It tastes fantastic. This is the blue water filtration system. We got this from Mobile Must Have. The system, we got their elite package, which includes the water filtration system, a water softener, which I'll just do some inset footage of because we actually have it installed kind of deep in the coach right now. It's a beautiful, everything in this system is stainless steel, and all the hoses that are included with it are stainless steel. All of the connection, the fittings are stainless steel. This is actually designed to run out to the connection point. We've got beautiful stainless steel pressure gauges, stainless steel regulator, and lots of stainless steel quick connect couplings. This is by far the best water system I think you could possibly put on an RV. This does not have to be installed inside, but we had plenty of space in here. Everything was already stainless steel and it looks so good. I just wanted to install it in here, but this can sit outside. It's designed to stay out. What's awesome about this system is this is a 0.2 micron filter, and it still provides enough flow to the coach that we can use the water connected. And the 0.2 micron is enough to really filter out bacteria and stuff like that. So it really makes the water safe, and it's made such a big difference in our water taste. Absolutely love it. If you're curious, you can check out Mobile Must Have, and they also offer Mortons on the Move subscribers a discount. So you're gonna have to head over to our deals and discounts page on our website to get that discount code. Behind here, I can't fully open it, but you can see in there, we've got a water mana block, which allows us to disconnect every individual thing in the coach from this. And then it's got an electric power cord reel. It really is just kind of built out with all the fancy features, and it's just been so nice to have all these things. Personally for me, the technical side, I've had a lot of fun with all this stuff. In here is the other side of the pass-through bay with the cooler. We keep our Starlink power system in here, hence the cable that runs in there, and the more access to the back side of the boiler and everything else is in that section there. So this panel here is the back of our refrigerator. This coach has a residential refrigerator in it, but we were talking about water filtration earlier. We actually added even more water filtration to this coach. This coach has an ice maker in the fridge, and we installed the Acuva UV sanitization system in the back here. And what this system does is it actually uses UV, ultraviolet light, to sanitize the water one final time before it actually gets into the fridge. So it has its own filter. Because we're so well filtered earlier on, we've never seen this actually restrict flow. But there is additional filtration and then into the UV sanitization before our drinking water comes out the fridge. So the water is basically guaranteed to be pathogen free by the time we get it out of the fridge, and our ice and everything. And that's fantastic because this coach is on its way down to Mexico with us right now. So having all of these additional water sanitization and filtration features is something that we think is really important when you don't know what kind of water quality you're getting. I also added additional insulation to the back here. This has been a super simple way to add additional insulation. It's just one of those spray can foam type of things. Sprayed it on, cut it off, seals it up very nicely. So here we're gonna actually be able to open this up and you can see the fuel tank. We can fill the fuel tank from either side of the coach. And then of course, we also have the 30-gallon propane tank in here. Like I said before, that propane is completely non-used, so I suppose maybe we could use it for a grill, but we haven't hooked it up to anything. More storage here, and more storage up here. This is the back side of that electric slide-out tray. On the front here, we've got our electronics for the actual operation of the coach. I don't think there's a whole lot to see in there, but this does have the generator control to push it out. Most of the coaches of this size have the generator up front like this. This is the 10,000 watt quiet diesel generator. The size is large enough that it can run all three of our air conditioners. We could charge the batteries really rapidly off this. And amazingly, even though it's so big, this generator is really quiet. So that's been a really nice feature as well. All right, coming around to the front again. It's an RV door, and I'm gonna switch it over to Caitlin to show her the inside. I think the only thing special we've got technical-wise about this door is it actually has an air seal. These coaches, they use air for a lot of different things in the coach, and this actually inflates when we're underway. This actually bulges out and seals up the door even better. It just keeps it quieter when we're driving and helps keep the wind or the rain out. The one thing you have to know if you do operate a coach with an air seal door is that if you don't put the coach into neutral, and if I'm just letting Caitlin hop out or something and the seal is inflated and she closes the door, it rarely locks because it bounces off of that seal. So I have to put it in neutral, deflates that seal, and then she can close the door properly. So I'm gonna switch the camera, let Caitlin take you inside, give you a tour of the inside.
Come on in.
Let me close the door.
So this is our motorhome. Like Tom said, the main reason we went with this motorhome is the layout. And we were looking for some very specific things. One of the things that we really, really wanted, and as you can see here, is the ability to put in a L couch. Now this is a residential couch. We pulled the original two couches out, and we found one that would fit in this L configuration up against an L kitchen. And that really was what we were looking for in an RV or in a motorhome, so that we could create this very comfy home-like nook looking at the TV, which we did upgrade as well. And then there was a couch over here as well, but we pulled that out to put in our work desks because we do work from the road, and this was a very important space for us to also make. So we got this desk, put it here, and this is primarily where we spend most of our time working and relaxing.
Pretty proud of this desk. It's a residential desk as well. It's a Chris leather top writing desk.
Yeah, but it's being protected because we'd probably destroy the leather top otherwise. But anyway, this is the cockpit. And Tom could probably tell you way more about that area as far as the leveling system and more about the driving. So I'll let him explain that. But I'll walk you through the rest of the coach. Another thing that we were really looking for in a coach was tile floors pretty much all the way through. And we've loved that. This is real tile. And it goes all the way back through the kitchen. And then while the bedroom is carpet, it continues into the master bath in the very back, which I will show you momentarily. So moving into the kitchen, again, we wanted this L kitchen, but this piece right here telescopes. So when we don't want this space or we're moving, it goes in, but it comes out, and we really liked having the additional storage space that made available instead of just, a extension of the counter. We really wanted this full countertop piece, which has been great.
Where does that go when we drive?
When we drive, this actually goes into this space between the desk and the dining table, and this is moved somewhere else. So we are able to tuck that away and still have full passing through when we're underway. So over here, real deep sink. We replaced the cooktop. This was propane when we got it, but we replaced it with this induction electric cooktop. One of the reasons why we don't use the propane tank that
was the only thing that used propane on this coach before.
Yes, but now we've ripped that out and we don't use any propane anymore.
So you consider this an all-electric coach.
Yes. And what that also did is it made it available for us to go and use the space underneath the cooktop where we installed a dishwasher, which has been a game changer. We love this dishwasher. Tom loves the dishwasher. He's been wanting a dishwasher since we started RVing.
Originally, it was just storage down there, but
Yep.
we completely redid that. And we were also able to retain a drawer, which I'm pretty proud of the cabinetry work that we did.
Yes. So lots of space underneath, very deep storage underneath there. Lots of storage up above. So we were able to put all of our pantry stuff, all of our electronic stuff all up. One of my favorite things of this kitchen is actually the spice cabinet. I didn't have one of these before, but it's so nice to just have a dedicated spice area that just kind of blends into everything. We also have a residential refrigerator here, and as Tom explained outside, this is where we get most of our drinking water with the Activa system, doing that extra filtration before it comes out here and into our ice. This is a big power draw, so that was one of the other reasons that we needed the lithium battle-borne batteries to be able to go a little bit off-grid and sustain the residential refrigerator, which has been awesome, having the extra space and capability there. And this is the dining table where we sit and we eat our meals. Pretty standard, but it does extend out, and it has a leaf back there should we have company. Here is our mid-bath.
Forgot to turn the lights on.
Forgot to turn the lights on in here, but very simple mid-bath, just toilet and a small vanity with lots of storage up here for toiletries and things like that. This is a macerating toilet that Tom was explaining before. This is one of our toilets, but I'll show you in the back. We decided to do something else with the other bathroom. So coming in here, this is the bedroom. It's got a king bed and plenty of dresser storage here. Pretty standard again, but back here is really one of the cool features of this rig. And one of the other main things that we got with going to this motorhome is this huge master bathroom. And what makes it unique is that this is on the slide. The slide is the entire dresser drawer area back into here. So when we bring this slide in, it actually closes up almost all the way. You can squeeze in here, but that meant the toilet was on the slide and the vanity is on the slide.
The toilet on the slide seemed crazy.
It seemed crazy, but when we got back here, we realized how big it made the space. Like, it made a lot of sense. However, you'll notice that the toilet looks a little different. What we did in here is, because we like to boondock so much and go off grid, is we swapped out that macerating toilet with an Ogo composting toilet. So what this allows us to do is when we're off grid, we can use the toilet that is best for off grid primarily, and then when we're on hookups, we can still use the macerating toilet with the full flushing capability and kind of have the best of both worlds. So that has worked out really great. The other thing that just kind of gave us peace of mind was we weren't super comfortable with that whole plumbing on the slide because of that moving in and out. So moving to the composting toilet, we were able to eliminate that, and now we don't have to worry about any sort of slide plumbing issue going forward.
However, I'm actually pretty confident I like the design of the plumbing here because it comes down and you see that chase over there? The plumbing actually runs all the way down and then down in that corner over there. So when this does move, it allows the flex lines to bend over a very long distance. And they actually don't flex all that much. So it actually seems like if you're going to design a slide with waste on it, this seems like a good way to go. The existing toilet was also a macerating toilet, so it actually pumped the waste, and I think that'd be really the only smart way to do a toilet on a slide.
Be able to do a gravity situation on a slide, but like we said, it opens this up so much, and they were able to put in this really big, wonderful shower that we love. And over here, in addition to a lot of like linen closet space, we got our washer and dryer that we never had before, and that was one of the things that we really wanted in an RV. This is a Ariston. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they're both Ariston, and we didn't want a combo unit because we've heard that they're much less efficient.
Slower.
And they're slower to like do an entire load of laundry and do multiple loads of laundry. So we were really looking for a coach with both washer and dedicated dryer.
To the back.
Behind me is a very large closet with lots of stuff in it. It goes all the way back that way, like to the wall where the washer and dryer go to, and all the way over here where then there's a very large electrical panel, but it's behind a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to hand it back to Tom now to talk about more of the electrical and technical aspects inside the coach.
So like Caitlin said, I'll talk you through a little bit more of some of the technicals of maybe operating this. This is our first motorhome, particularly of anything of this size. So, well, I've operated large things before. I never operated anything with an air system. So we did have to learn the air brake systems and the operation around that. There are definitely some differences, and I'd highly recommend that you do a lot of research and or training if you're going to operate a coach that's this heavy. This coach weighs, we scale in around 55,000 pounds currently. But like I said, it can gross up to 65,000. That's an awful lot of weight to control. Driving it though is actually a lot of fun. It's really, really stable. I think that some of my comfort with this coach is that we had operated so many other RVs over the years, and operating this, it's just like, it's just not really that big a deal. It cruises down the highway super easy, and while it does feel like it just takes up the road, otherwise it's a really good drive and really awesome. The coach has an Allison transmission connected to the engine. It's a 4000, and it's actually just a push button control. This is very standard on these diesel pusher coaches. It also has a very powerful engine brake that you can control from over here. And the engine brake on the Detroit diesel is actually a Jake brake. So there's an additional set of valve controls inside the engine that give us very massive braking. We have high and low. On low, it uses 3 of the cylinders, and on high, it uses all 6 of the cylinders of the engine. Over here, we also have our level control. This coach is completely air level. There is no jacks on this coach. There could be pros and cons to that. The air can actually cause a little bit more, I guess, wobble, if you will. But because we sit on 10 airbags like we talked about before, it's really not that bad. It's very stable, and the air leveling is fast, easy, and we can do it anywhere. So we pull into a rest stop, I hit that auto level, get up, and the coach is level before we start making a sandwich, and we don't have to worry about punching holes in the asphalt or anything like that. We can level anywhere at any time. A lot of these big coaches will have both the jacks and the air leveling. You can kind of use both. A lot of people choose the air leveling for very quick, rapid leveling, but the jacks for a longer term because it does add that additional stability that you wouldn't have otherwise. Up here we also added additional lighting. I'm a little bit of a freak with lighting. I love to add all sorts of different things. I've added strip lighting. I've done custom lighting in the ceiling, replaced some of the existing ceiling cans with more like spotlights to give us that really nice light in the kitchen. And then this TV up here was actually a little bit of a pride as well. Every piece of electronics in this coach has pretty much been updated. Originally it had a very small 2008 TV, and we went with this very thin OLED TV that, no, it's not actually that thin the entire way around, but it allowed us to inset it into this cabinet. The electronics only sit in this section here. So we're able to inset it into the cabinet and go with the largest TV possible that just sits so nicely up here.
You did have to move the
cabinets
over
a little bit.
It gets a little close up there.
To be able to get this 50-inch TV, I think it is, in here. But
the biggest one we could do.
It's as big as we could go in here. Right. And then above Caitlin over here is our electronics cabinet. And once again, this is a disaster right now. We'll be doing additional videos on some of our favorite upgrades that we've made. And up here, oh my gosh, look at all those antennas. Here's one of the old ones. So we are still using the PepWave router because the way that it can bond the different internets together and how well it works with the cell is just top of the line. However, we've upgraded to a 5G router, and we have that up there. We kept this, however, because I'm going to be installing an additional antenna on the roof and connecting both the routers together so I can do even more stuff. It can combine all of our cell connectivity and even the Starlink all into one very, very stable internet system. It's going to get cleaned up, and I'll share with that more later. The original inverter control panel was here, and I, of course, removed that when that came out, so that's why that's missing as well. But that's kind of the tech center and the brains, if you will. Now, another thing you'll notice with this coach is the lighting controls are actually all done with these push-button switches. A lot of the new coaches, new RVs have like a touchscreen type control and monitoring for the coach. This was kind of the first gen behind that, and they call this a multiplex lighting system. So these are electronic modules that actually send a signal to a relay module in the back of the coach, and then every light is controlled via this. What's neat about this is, of course, I figured out how to hack these already and reprogram these individual buttons. So you can see that one's not even labeled, but it controls this front light. So I can change any of these buttons to work on any light throughout the coach. And this also gives us the capability to turn all of the lights on or off in the entire coach. So I can press the master off, and I just shut off every single light in the coach.
Well, except for that one, we can see that one's on.
That one's left on. That's the driver-controlled light, so that one stays on. But otherwise, I just turn every single light in the coach on, and we can do that from the bedroom. We can do that from multiple locations. We can also control the water pump from multiple locations. So that's a really nice thing to be able to do, that multiplex lighting system, and it gives me a lot more control. It also allows us to do things like do automation. This coach does have electric shades throughout the entire coach, and we can actually, I've added a system. This is actually a wireless system called Broadlink that allows me to take a voice command through a Home Assistant and control the shades and the lighting. You saw probably there's color in the ceiling. It's freaking out right now because I just pushed the button wrong. But we can ask, I can say, hey Google, close all night shades. It's going to take a little bit, but it's going to go through that system and automatically close all of the night shades in the coach. So that's all automated, and the front shade isn't, because that has to be controlled by the driver as well. But we're able to have a lot of fun with the automation in the coach. So we've got air quality monitoring to control and give us indication of when the air quality gets bad. We've learned a lot that cooking in a small space really impacts the air quality, so you have to turn the vent on. Caitlin's laughing at me from behind the camera that I'm getting into too much technical, but we've had a lot of fun with the automation and being able to control the different aspects via voice commands or via phone remotely. We can monitor the coach. We have cameras throughout the outside and inside when we leave the dogs in, so we can monitor them. And then, of course, the battery systems we can monitor, control. The generator can auto start, fill up the batteries when it turns off. We've had so much fun doing all those things, and I mean, every single one of those could be a video in itself. And I do hope that you head over to our website, mortonsonthemove.com, because we've talked a lot about a lot of these things already, and we share a lot about the upgrades that we do to the coach over in our newsletter every time we do something like that. So anyway, that's kind of the overview. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. We are loving living in this RV and traveling in it as well. I traveled all the way across the country. We were in Florida, and I went all the way out to Lake Havasu, Arizona to pick up this coach because we wanted this particular layout with these particular features. And so far, it's really become what we wanted. And the layout, the very large kitchen, the residential couch. Of course, the residential couch was a trick. We bought this at Costco, and we were able to
Took a lot of measuring.
It did. But,
and then we had to pop out the window over here to get it in, because it's not RV furniture, so it didn't come apart.
And if you're a subscriber to the newsletter, you would have seen that in every Sunday we share a little piece of personal what we're doing, and I think we shared information about that.
So we've been living in this 2008 Monaco Dynasty for about a year, hence the significant upgrades that we've accumulated, and we've been loving it. We loved our fifth wheel before this, but this was really a step up and gave us a lot of amenities so that we could keep living the full-time RV life very comfortably.
Yeah, we kind of decided that we weren't, the fifth wheel was so great for the adventuring and being able to get places, and we did a lot of that.
And being off-grid.
This motorhome, the intent isn't so much for that. We have some properties that we kind of go between primarily, and this motorhome is great for that, but we're not planning to really go into the other areas because, as we've shared with you before, we have that truck camper that is going to be the true adventure vehicle.
Yes.
This is our mansion on wheels, if you will. And
well, it feels like it after, being in a 32-foot fifth wheel, going to a 45-foot diesel pusher motorhome with king bed, washer, dryer, dishwasher. It's a significant upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, we hope that you consider subscribing to our channel here. Also subscribe over on our website to our newsletter so you get our updates about what we're doing and our content over on our website as well.
But thanks so much for watching, and we will see you down the road.
Be safe, everyone.
Bye.